If you had to pick one, would you rather be an average, mid-looking millionaire or beautiful and broke?
All right. I'm going to pick a mid-looking millionaire because money can buy you a whole lot, which is why we're talking about beauty services today. When we talk about beauty services, we mean hair did, nails did, everything did.
So hair, nails, facials, waxing,
hair removal, lashes, permanent makeup, lasers, Botox,
cosmetic surgery,
fillers, tanning, cosmetic dentistry, hair plugs if you need it.
Yep.
It is a whole industry. So let's talk about it. Are beauty services worth it?
Welcome to Net with Lizzy and Lissa, where we analyze hidden costs and empower you to make your own damn decisions in life. Each episode covers a different facet of life, and at the end of each episode, we each give our take on whether or not we think something is net positive or net negative.
I'm Lizzy, a strategist and consultant with over 17 years in finance and investing.
And I'm Lissa, a content creator and accredited financial counselor. We're best friends who talk about money
and everything else.
So, are beauty services worth it?
First up, running the numbers on beauty services.
A Groupon survey says American women spend an average of $3,756 per year on beauty products and services, which means a little over $10 a day on beauty.
Not gonna lie, that feels a little low.
Feels a little low, right? But it's an average.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But men are not far behind. The same survey shows that American men spend an average of $2,928 per year across the same categories.
In fact, the men's personal care market is projected to hit $276 billion by 2030. And I have some interesting things to say about men's products and men's branding, but we'll get to that in a bit.
We'll get to it. In one survey, 33% of women said they'd consider cosmetic surgery to maintain a youthful appearance.
I'm not surprised. Like, everyone loves youth. Everyone tells me that I look 22, even though I'm 37, and it's always a compliment.
Man, facts. I got that recently, and I was like, oh.
In that same survey, 30% of women and 21% of men said that they often worry about their appearance.
That's real. I think that's the nature of society we live in these days.
Right. So unless you're living under a rock or really just don't give a fuck about appearances, there's a high likelihood you've paid for a professional beauty service in the past. So let's talk about it. Are these beauty services really worth it?
This is a loaded topic because, one, there's a wide gamut of beauty services that we named. We're deliberately being very inclusive of a wide range of services. But also there's just a lot of societal expectations that come along with this. So I think we're not referring specifically to women, but especially for women, there's so much pressure to maintain a specific appearance, to maintain a youthful appearance, to be physically attractive and desirable, that for a lot of people, these feel like a must. Like, you don't have a choice almost. And there is a significant financial cost that comes with that.
Well, I think it's interesting because there's one thing to care about your beauty and appearance for yourself because it feels good,
right?
Just because it feels good. And then extending that to looking good and feeling good in your environment around you. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? If you're single, trying to attract a partner, or if you have a partner and you want to,
keep them around,
be some eye candy, right? Like, so there's different reasons for it. But as you said, like, there's these deeper reasons for like keeping up appearances that can affect getting jobs that can affect whether you look older or younger. Like there's so many aspects to keeping up an appearance and caring about your appearance that there's no straight answer initially.
So it's funny that you say that because I am a bit of a contrarian by nature. And so there are certain parts of the beauty industry or the expectations that I've historically like really balked against. And that's just interesting that some things for me personally are considered normalized and acceptable, which is usually like hair done, nails done. That's pretty typical, in my opinion. But things beyond that for me have been like, I've judged it or just kind of shunned the notion that that should be expected of me. And it's interesting you bring up like the effects of appearance on how you're treated in the world. And it is a real thing. I'm thinking of like professionalism and this idea that you have to be polished and look a certain way to be considered professional. Clearly, I don't accept that notion, and I have made a big effort to kind of reject that in my own life of like, I'm going to go and I'm going to speak on a panel and I'm going to have tattoos and I'm going to say fuck and I'm going to wear what I want to wear. But the reality is, has that been used against me? 100%.
Do you think that's a privilege to a degree to be able to do that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. If I wasn't white, I would not have that same opportunity for sure. And other things. I think I benefit from some degree of pretty privilege. I think I have a certain amount of experience that enables me to do that. I can, speak fairly eloquently about certain topics. So yeah, absolutely. Not everyone can make that same move and have the same outcome. But it's something I'm aware of. And professionally, specifically, caring too much about your appearance can go the opposite direction. You look too young, or you're, as a woman, you're not taken as seriously.
Or as a woman, you're asking for attention that you don't want.
Or you're sexualized, which has been my experience many times as well. So as a woman, you have to ride this very specific line of being attractive enough, but not too attractive. You want to be pleasing, but not asking for it, which is wild. And this is not me making these recommendations. This is the effect of society on women.
So you mentioned that there are some beauty services that not so much are like a no-brainer, but that are just normalized to you and that you take in, right?
Yeah.
Nails, hair. What are some of the ones that you don't use?
Yeah. This is kind of changing because I think I've become more reflective of my own attitudes on it. And some of it is at the intersection of my financial attitudes. So I have always been okay with getting my nails done, partially because I bite my nails to the fucking disaster, and so I have to. I feel like I have to because I don't want to be judged for that. And I've always been okay with doing my hair, partially because I color my own hair and I enjoy it and it's fun and it's creative and whatever. I have never gotten my lashes done. This is a specific one that is like my own little rebellion of, I think the more women get their lashes done, the more normalized it is, the more it is expected, because that's what people think that women look like. And I think that's bullshit. And I don't want to have to spend hundreds of dollars every month just to have the baseline eyelashes. I think it's silly. So I don't know if I'll ever get lashes.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I never knew what eyelash extensions were till like 5 years ago, because I saw one of my friends have them. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know what they were. I just was like, oh my God, like they
look beautiful.
You look beautiful. But she had them so naturally put on that I thought they were her real lashes. So I thought maybe it's like a mascara or like the way she curls them. And so she told me they were extensions. So I was like, ooh, I want to try them.
Sure.
So I ended up finding someone to do my lash extensions, the homie Lauren.
Shout out to Lauren.
Yeah, shout out to Lauren, who I'm still friends with to this day. You really get to know your lash tech because like you are laying there for hours getting them done. So you end up talking a lot of the time. But anyway, so I had this whole phase of like 2 to 3 straight years of getting my lash extensions done. And what I see now in hindsight was it was partially a confidence booster. It was like you get to wake up like looking like this, like looking fresh.
Right.
As opposed to like towards the end when they've like fallen off, like, and you don't have time to get a fill, like I'll show up at places and people will be like, Lisa, like you look tired.
Are you tired?
Are you tired?
Yeah.
I'm not tired. My lashes just fell off and it's time to get new ones.
Right.
Right. And I didn't put mascara on or whatever. But so I went through this phase of getting them consistently because I felt like they made me feel more confident. Just, you know, even if I wasn't going anywhere for the day and
you
I
already
wasn't
looked done.
Even if I wasn't going to see anyone, it was just me waking up and like brushing my teeth and like, oh, who's that in the mirror, right? And then but then I don't know if mine became an obsession, but it was like I always have to have full lashes. Like I always have to get them filled, which started to cost a lot more. But then now that I think about it, even though they cost more, they also saved me a lot of money. Because in that phase, I stopped wearing other eye makeup. I wasn't buying like eyeshadows, eyeliners, and all that stuff. I also wasn't wearing full face more, like even more and more, because just the lashes alone and a little bit of lip gloss.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
right. You wear way less makeup but since you got lashes.
Going back to your point, though, not to dismiss it, because I agree with it. Like, the more we normalize that as being the normal look and the normal face, then what is it when it is your normal face? Right. What is it when you have nothing on, no lashes, no nothing, and you look tired? How does that affect
I already felt that way because I have blonde eyelashes. So I already get that normally, and most days I don't wear any makeup. And I got to a point where I had no issue with that. I like the way my face looks without makeup. I don't feel like I have to feel good about myself. But then it's the double effect of I don't have mascara on, so I look tired already. And then I feel like I'm like the only person I know that doesn't have lash extensions. And maybe that's also, again, living in a little bit of a bubble, but it is different. Like people expect it. And to each their own, I have no judgment about people who do it. I think they look beautiful. Some of them go a little wild these days. Some of them are like...
Some of them, I don't know how they stay up. Like,
yeah.
They look heavy.
Especially like some of these WNBA players is like a...
Yeah.
But you know what? Like if that's what makes you feel good, it makes you feel good. But that's one of the specific ones. I think used to have a lot of judgment around like fillers, Botox, that kind of thing. And I've really let that go, which I don't think there's a super specific reason other than do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I have one of my other best friends is a dermatologist. I got a little free Botox to try it out, and that's the only time I've done it. But I definitely felt like, all right, a little boost. I have hooded eyes, and it just like perked me up a little bit. I don't know that I would pay for it personally, but like I can be kind of cheap sometimes. So
that judgment you said you used to have on some of those things, do you think that came from a place of, because I know you, so I'm just kind of guessing here. To me, it feels like you might have come from a place where like, you know, women don't need that. You are pretty already.
Yeah.
So why would you need
I think it came from that place, and also like, if I'm being truly honest, a place of like arrogance of like, I don't feel the need to do that, but you do. And that's the part I think I've in particular let go of like, just because I don't want to do it doesn't make me better or different than anyone else. Because there is a lot of that. And I think it's internalized misogyny. And I think men feed into it of like men wanting all the girls with the BBLs and the crazy fake faces, but then they want a natural girl.
Yeah. The duck lips.
Yeah.
But so interesting you mentioned the BBLs, because I think that's something that I used to have more judgment on too, that I've just kind of like, all right, let live and let live. Like, what does it have to do with me? If it's something I personally are not going to do for myself right now, who knows? Maybe in 5 years I'll do something. Maybe not. But like BBLs, like boob jobs, like other bigger, I guess more major cosmetic surgeries. Like I used to have this big judgment on it because I just felt like, no, like love your body for what it is. But then like with the lashes thing, like my reasoning is because it made me feel confident.
For sure.
And like it makes me attractive and pleasing to other eyeballs, which is nice for me. What I worry about is the other extreme, right? Because it's so, if it becomes so normalized in rap songs and whatever, that women...
This is the beauty standard.
It's a standard that women feel that they need to have in order to get attention.
And then go to extremes. You know, BBLs are incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, especially when you're getting, like traveling to places.
Yeah, and there are real health risks. And the crazy thing is that is the extreme that many women, not just women, but many people feel the need to take their beauty efforts to in order to maintain, you know, some sense of fame in that case, or, you know, attractiveness.
But I don't think it's just one thing. I think it's a mix. That could be a part of it, but it could also be because someone just really wanted it for themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we shouldn't assume.
Yeah.
So what about you? Are there limits? Do you put these in categories? What has been your experience with beauty services?
So beauty services to me are not like I do this all the time and I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. I go through phases. So there are certain things that I've learned I hate doing myself. Like, you know, waxing and plucking my own eyebrows, doing my own nails. So 2 years ago, when I got laid off, it was okay. It's okay. Don't worry about me. I wanted to get laid off.
She was about to quit, y'all. She came up.
When I got laid off and I had a set amount of money to fund my life and to fund this business that I'm building, and I still wanted to maintain my lifestyle in certain ways. Like I didn't want to move to a smaller place. Like there were certain things I wanted that I cared a lot about. I wanted to keep traveling to see my long distance boyfriend at the time. There were things that I decided I wanted to change, and a lot of those came in the beauty category. So my every 2 to 3 week eyelash extension fill, I stopped doing that and I started doing Lashify, which are these lashes you put on yourself. They last a couple of days. Even though they're kind of pricey for like having to keep buying product, I did the numbers. I ran the numbers. Course, They come out to like less than half what I was paying for extensions. There was a lot of things that I downgraded. I stopped going to get professional services and I instead did them myself to save money for that period of time.
For sure.
I've since gone back to some of these services, one, because I have more cash flow, like I have the money to do it, and two, because I realized that's where I learned that I don't like doing certain things. Some things I'm fine doing. Oh, another one is I stopped getting highlights in my hair for like 2 years.
Oh yeah, you did.
I went natural all black, and then now I finally,
that, but it looks good.
And then I colored my hair again. So I think as long as you know, I'm a financial counselor. When I work with people, we talk a lot about non-negotiables and like what are the things that you can stick to in your budget, because you know, if something brings you joy and you don't want to cut that, because it'll like, then you'll get unmotivated to keep, you know, building wealth and
for sure
sticking to your budget. And a lot of times women's non-negotiables are like, no, I have to get my manicures. Like I have to do them. And we'll find ways to keep it in the budget. It just might mean like, all right, pause Netflix for the foreseeable future. Like, you know,
or I'm going to get a fill, wait a week to get a fill.
Yeah, wait 1 extra week, whatever. Yeah. There's ways to do it. So what I like to see is when people are intentional about their services and they don't do it just because it's a recurring regular thing. Intentional because they know why it matters to them, not to other people, right? Like, so that's where I kind of land with all beauty services for myself, as well as like for clients, is like, what is this doing for you? What does it bring to your life?
Do you think, or have you seen in your experience that women in particular have a lot of negative emotions or shame or guilt or embarrassment associated with what they spend on beauty services.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everyone feels bad. Like, okay, not everyone. Some people. Some people are unapologetic about it and probably shouldn't, because they should probably cut down their spending a little bit. But there are other people who have the money for it, but won't get, gel nails instead of regular because it costs $10 more. And with inflation, it's like up to $15, $20 more. And I'm like, but what about the stress caused when you chip your regular manicure paint in the same day you got it versus gel, which won't chip for 2-3 weeks later? Right. And the trade-off there is like, we're not thinking about the financial cost anymore. We're thinking about, what does it do for you? Like, does it bring you happiness? Does it bring you less stress to get the more expensive thing?
Right. So that resonates a lot with me, of this kind of very recent journey that I'm on of recognizing all of the ways where I minimize my own needs and don't invest in my own self. And I've always been pretty frugal, and I'm absolutely a DIY girly. I love a DIY. So there's always been that element for me. I bought the whole gel, like the complete gel, like acrylic basically kit. I actually really liked doing them, but they wouldn't stay on. I couldn't get them to last as long. And so then it just became a waste of time because they take forever. But yeah, I've colored my own hair. I've done all my own stuff. And part of that is because I like the process, but I think inherently there was this unconscious belief that I didn't deserve to spend that money on myself. And so I had to minimize the costs. And I think now I'm in this position of going the opposite direction of, fuck yeah, I deserve that. If I want it, I will spend it. And kind of in a new season of deliberately putting money into my own self-care in those ways for the sake of kind of turning a corner in that regard. But I completely relate to those feelings, and it's complex because it's hard to decipher between what is it that I want, what is valued, what is seen as frivolous, what is like, oh, this is what you should spend or shouldn't spend. And I think there's this interesting element of society that says you have to be this way, but you have to make it effortless. You have to be gorgeous and young and look glamorous, but you have to make it look like you didn't try, like you rolled out of bed like this, like you didn't spend a dime on it, because those things are frowned upon. And those make you high maintenance, and, they make you a silly girl.
I always laugh when you watch the TV show and, like, let's say it's a woman, I don't know, police officer or someone who just came out of like a car chase and like fighting. And then like, even though they have like a couple scuffs on them, like their lashes, their brows,
face beat.
But like there's parts that are, there are parts that are perfect of their face. Yeah. That's just like, and so I think the media has we can go all day about like the media and, the beauty standards, but like it feeds this mentality, like you said, that's the norm. But no, the norm, I'll show you, maybe one of these episodes I'll do
a breakdown.
No, like fresh face, nothing. Because that's the norm.
That's the norm.
The norm is like not this.
Low key, I considered it today. I considered it because I was in such a rush.
Let me tell you why there won't actually ever be a norm like that for me, because I have powder brows. That's like permanent makeup. Yeah. Right? I also have dental veneers, so it's like permanent.
Can't undo all that.
So I can't undo all that. So there is no looking at natural me. But that's something I wanted to touch on as I'm thinking of all these services I do now. Is we talked about the financial cost. There's also social costs. What about the health costs, health risks?
I think that can be significant, and it depends, obviously, to some extent on how invasive the services are, but even what I historically have considered the more acceptable, there's a lot of chemicals when you're getting your nails done. Mm-hmm. You're putting them under UV light. If you're doing gel, if you're getting your hair colored, like you can't get it colored when you're pregnant because of the effect of the chemicals.
Yeah.
So the reality is we're exposing our bodies to all kinds of bullshit, even if we're not, going under the knife or injecting something. And those, I think, are often just expected. Like, we're just supposed to eat those risks.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's your take on the health costs?
I think you hit it spot on. Like, I think about that all the time. When I was getting eyelash extensions, they started to irritate me. Not so much. I know some women get irritation from the chemicals and will get like puffy eyes or red eyes and things like that. My eyes weren't affected, but my nose would get affected. It'd be like allergies. And so I'd have to like take a Zyrtec, but even then it would take like 2 days to like subside. And then I finally, I talked to my lash tech about it, and she switched me to a more sensitive glue,
right,
which worked for the like less impact on my allergies and stuff. And it cost the same, but they didn't stay on as long.
Right. So that's a trade-off.
Because then I'm going more often.
Trade-off.
I'm going more often, meaning I'm paying more for lashes, and I'm going more often, which is more time.
Right.
Like I said, you're laying there for a couple hours. Like,
for
done.
Sure.
So I think there's the health cost and all the other costs. Sometimes it really comes down to like what you think the trade-offs are. Is it really worth it to like get my daily confidence because I have lashes,
right?
Or do I not risk chemicals near my eyeballs?
That is wild.
Yeah.
The time thing I think is really interesting, and it can feel like a full-time job. I remember I worked with a woman, an executive, and we were trying to set up a really important meeting with a potential partner, and she was like, I'm unavailable at that time. And then to me privately, because we were very close, said, I have a hair appointment and I am not going to like rearrange my hair appointment for anyone, because this is part of what makes me feel like me. And it's also part of my appearance is part of what gets me respected as a female executive. And that just resonated with me. The need to fit your services that feel required to make you a functioning and acceptable human into your busy life.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's a joy, right? This is a time for me. I love getting my nails done. It feels like I can just chill and relax.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's a stressor. I'm getting my hair done tomorrow and I'm like, oh, fuck.
But you have other things to do.
I have so much to do,
Yeah.
and it's like, all right, I have to carve out this time. And that is a cost that I think women uniquely bear, or certainly more so than men.
Great segue, because I wanted to talk about men here. We've been talking a lot about women and beauty services for women, but I think we discount that there are some things that men
100%.
also do as well. I think the biggest one that I can think of is haircuts.
Haircut, yeah.
Because they go more often, if like for guys who do get their haircut.
Yeah, they go more often. A really clean cut at like a nice barbershop can be like $100, and you're supposed to go. I have a good friend who goes every week. Every week.
That's a lot. Like
that's a lot.
That's more than we get like our nails done, and I can make a haircut last for like 6 to 12 months.
I haven't been since December.
Yeah, very, very long time.
Yeah.
This is more on the beauty product side, less so beauty services for men. But what do you think about men's products, like beauty products, being branded as like, because like all the brands are like this black and white, very sleek.
You know what? As a branding person, having spent most of my career in branding, I think it is very strategig and very smart. Like you walk into Target and you see all of these pretty recently, very clean, thoughtful, composed, modern looking brands targeting men and moving away from the 3-in-1, shampoo, body wash, conditioner, to getting men to be really thoughtful about these things. It is certainly capitalism and consumerism at its finest. However, I think the reason I can just laugh at it is because we've had to deal with so many years of like a pink pen being for women, and that kind of silly marketing of a typical unisex product for women by making it pink. But I'm like, go ahead, man. Yeah. get to experience this.
So interestingly, so that's with products. Now I think major brands are catching on and saying like there is a market in men for in beauty, because they have hair too, they have skin too, they have things that they. What do you see as far as beauty services for men? Like we talked about haircuts and barbers, but do you think there will ever be an increase in men, I don't know, getting facials or getting, pedicures and things like that?
I think I have a unique perspective relative to the larger population, partially because of where we live, like living in LA, adjacent to the entertainment industry. I think the reality is so many men get Botox. I can think of many that I know personally. I think increasingly men get facials and, care about their skincare. One of our best friends, shout out D-Walk, is a skincare connoisseur. And man, you can tell. He has excellent skin.
Baby soft.
I think it's becoming more normalized as a form of self-care, which is an interesting difference. I think for men, it's more about caring for themselves, and for women, it's more about being hot.
So you think for men who do those types of things, it is just to feel good?
No, I don't think. I think that's the message we get.
Oh, that's the message we get.
That's the message we get. I think it's becoming more acceptable. Now, the reality is there's still people who are like, that's effeminate, or have those kind of toxic masculinity judgments around it, metrosexual and all of that. Many of the men that I know personally, I think, are rejecting that.
Yeah.
I'm going to get cosmetic dentistry. I'm going to invest in a hair transplant because I want to feel good about myself.
So is this good or bad? Because women historically, they call it the pink tax.
Yeah.
It's this so women already, generally have historically gotten paid less than men. And then because of this pink tax on certain things like beauty related expenses, have more expenses than men.
Absolutely.
So what do you think for men, as this increases, is it cool? Is it fair? Is it whatever?
I think it kind of comes back to why you're doing it. If it makes you feel confident. So the friend that I mentioned that gets a haircut every week, it makes him feel crisp, like he looks his best every week. And so it is worth that extra cost to have that confidence. And if that's how you feel and it makes you feel good about yourself, feel like you are the best version of yourself, fuck yeah, go for it. Or feel like you're taking care of your skin or you're taking care of your body. The line, I think, for men and women comes in when you feel like it is an expectation where you have no choice because you need to keep up with this standard that you have no say in, or when it comes from a place of insecurity, which is really challenging.
Yeah.
And I think that is very common. And it's just kind of an unfortunate reality of, I don't feel good about myself, so I'm going to try to do these things. And it doesn't necessarily heal the deeper wound there.
Yeah. Because when it comes to spending money on beauty services, I mentioned getting my eyebrows waxed earlier, right? You don't have to have perfectly lined up eyebrows to, let's say, look professional going to work, right? So now it's not about keeping up appearances so that you get somewhere in life because of them. It's really because when I look in the mirror, if my eyebrows are not matching and they're crooked, it bothers me.
Yeah. Or other women are going to judge me.
That's true.
I think that's another interesting element. We've talked a lot about the challenges that women face from kind of society at large, often male-driven lens. But women are hard on each other as well. Especially when it comes to hair, makeup, we have expectations of what it looks like when it's well done. And there is that extra pressure that we put on each other.
Yeah. Yep.
It's hard out here, man.
It is hard out here. Moving on to 20 cents. 20 cents is the segment of the show where both Lizzy and myself, Lissa, get 60 seconds to give our 2 cents on today's topic, whether we think it is a net positive or a net negative. Where does 20 cents come from?
Because you get the opinion of 2 dimes.
It gets cornier every time
I like
we say
it more every
but
time.
I like it. All right, Liz, you have 60 seconds on the clock. Are beauty services worth it? Let us know.
Whew, okay. For me at this point in my life, I am really emphasizing putting energy, investment, resources, time, and money into myself for the sake of actively demonstrating to myself that I am worth all of those things and prioritizing myself when I have previously undermined my own needs. So for that reason, I am leaning in to beauty services right now. This may not last forever, but I am leaning into hair did, nails did, everything did. If I want a facial, I get massages all the time. If I want to get some waxing, whatever it may be, I'm about to go for it because there is a deeper meaning for myself in, showing myself that I'm worth it.
Yep.
Now, I'm also letting go of my past judgments around it. So for me,
this is the first time that you've not made it in a minute. All right. For you,
net positive.
Net positive. You barely made it. You
Damn,
made
I was
it.
slow.
You made it.
All right. What about you, my girl Lissa? Where are you at today? Are beauty services worth it?
All right. So let me start by saying a year ago, easy net negative because I was trying to save money, didn't have the budget for it, tried to DIY a lot of it, which leads to obviously today, I'm going to say a net positive. And that's primarily because it does fit within the budget. I've learned a lot more about myself and what I like doing and what I don't like doing. And I'm very clear on what it makes me feel to do certain things. Like for the most part, I'm doing it for myself. I'd be lying if I said I didn't care what it looked like, for my partner, for people around me, and for being on screen, filming YouTube videos every week. Like I do care about appearances to that degree, but to me, it's more about confidence. And so for me right now, beauty services, I still got some time. Net positive.
You showing off.
Net positive.
Gloating about extra time.
So remember, this is what we think at this moment in time. We are both net positive for beauty services, but for you, no one can make the right decision but you. So what do you think? Are beauty services worth it?
Hit us up. Let us know what you think. DM us on Instagram at netnetpodcast or email us at hi@netnetpodcast.com. And if you want to follow us individually, here's where you can find us.
I'm at Wealth for Women of Color on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram.
And you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at live_well_Lizzy.
All references, statistics, and resources mentioned can be found in our show notes. This podcast is for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only and should not be constituted as financial advice. Remember to always do your own research, consult a professional as needed, and feel empowered to make your own damn decisions.